We've been to Bogota 3 or 4 times already, and every single time we see the Monserrate mountain, and we've always wanted to visit it, but we didn't.
No, we didn't.
It's not because of laziness, but because there is a deeper reason behind it. People believe that if you're a couple but not married and you visit Monserrate, you will break up. And we did not want to test that. So now, when we are finally married, not once but twice, we decided to visit Monserrate.
Finally. Hola Masala, this is Luisa from Colombia.
And Ashwin from India.
And we are happy to be back to tell you some of our recent highlights in our Bogota trip. Finally, as you said, we went to the Monserrate mountain, one of the most famous in Bogota and in the whole country. Why are we doing this though?
It is because a lot of you asked a lot of questions about the safety and how to travel in Colombia, because recently Colombia is becoming a very famous place to visit for foreigners, and of course we wanted to show that it is safe, it is secure, and it's absolutely beautiful.
Our day actually didn't start with the idea of going to Monserrate. We wanted to go to the National Museum because that's another place that we have been trying to go, but we actually never go. And we made a mistake. It was May the 1st, and it was very silly from us.
Yeah. The museum is technically supposed to be open. However, because of May 1st, there were a lot of protests right around that area. So, of course, they decided to close the museum.
Yeah, we arrived and they weren't there, but we could hear that they were coming. So...
Yeah. Well, we had to change our plans because we checked on Google Maps, we checked the website of the museum. Everything indicated that it's going to be open, but we went there and the security personnel told us, nope, it's closed. And that's when it struck us, because Monserrate is very close from there, and we asked the security people whether if it will be open, and they said, yes, you can go out and try.
It is open 365 days of the year. Every single day it is open, so... that was good news for us. A fun fact was that on the way we stopped for some food in a bakery and we asked for cafe. Cafe is coffee, right? And as I'm from the coffee access, you will expect to get black coffee. And I only like black coffee. But we actually got coffee with milk, because in Bogota you have to say tinto. Like, I have no idea, wine? Wine, I don't know how to translate it, tinto. And also we asked for pan de queso, which is cheese bread. And in Pereira, this is this. But we actually got this. It was very funny because, yes, I am Colombian. We are speaking Spanish all the time, but we don't understand each other sometimes. But it's actually so nice to be Colombian in all senses because it's so diverse. And in that sense, India is very similar. One state is completely different from another, but that doesn't exclude you from being Indian. You can enjoy both, even if you weren't born in that specific area. And it makes me proud to know that Bogota is part of my culture as well, despite being so different in certain senses. But we went out of the topic. The topic is Monserrate. Monserrate is one of the most famous hills in Bogota. Bogota is in an altiplano, which means it's up in the mountain, but it's all flat. Bogota is one of the highest capital cities of the world. It's 2,600 meters over the sea level. But the Monserrate hill is 3,100 plus, 150 meters over the sea level. Many people say that they get altitude sickness when they come to either Bogota or Monserrate. I have never felt that, but tell me, did you feel anything like that?
I mean, I'm technically supposed to because I'm from Chennai, which is like a coastal city, absolutely 0 meters above sea level. But for some reason, like I've never had that issue, thankfully.
Anyway, we went there through a funicular. How do you say that in English? I have no idea. But it's
It looked
funicular.
like a train,
It's
but
like
on top of the mountain.
Yes, like a tramway. Like a tramway, it's it's not that slow, but it's also not that fast. So you can enjoy the view while it's going up. It's actually the first one in South America.
Incredible.
Not sure about the date, I'll put it here, maybe the 20s, 30s. And they also have a cable car. But you can also go by walk. And I'm not sure I'm gonna do that in the time coming, in the time being.
Yeah, I think it's like about 500, 600 meters of walking up the hill. I'm not sure.
But it's a really good exercise. An interesting fact is that on top of the mountain you have a church. That's the basic idea of going there. You go to the church. And during Holy Week, as Colombia is a very Catholic country, people go there as a pilgrimage on their knees, asking for favors, asking for a miracle. And that's very similar to Hinduism. I saw it a lot in
the temples,
in
right?
temples
Yeah, a
too.
lot of temples, people like make prayers, walk with their knees, or just roll around making
I
prayers.
didn't see the rolling around.
Yeah, but it's also very common. So I think the Indians watching this video will understand that.
There is a very interesting fact when it comes to that. This place is a Catholic pilgrimage area. Yes, we have that clear. But it was actually built by the Spanish on top of a sacred place for the Muiscas, which are the indigenous tribes that were here before the conquest. So here we have Monserrate. And on the next hill we have Guadalupe, right? But these were the places where the Muiscas had this, or analyzed that the sun came exactly through those points during the equinoxes. So when the Spanish conquistadores, conquerors came, they set those churches exactly in those points. That's very interesting because it was already a sacred place before the Spanish came.
It's very interesting because it kind of happened everywhere all over the world where conquerors went and destroyed local communities. Primarily, they said that these local communities didn't know anything, they didn't know civilization, and the conquerors gave all of that. But this is a classic example of an indigenous tribe excelling in astronomy, in the position of the sun, the moon, the planets, the seasons, where it rose. And it's just very incredible for me to think that all these extraordinary knowledge was suppressed all these years. And only now people are starting to talk about it, share it, and be proud of it more so. And it's very beautiful to get to know the real history.
Absolutely. There is a very interesting video. It's in Spanish, but this YouTuber explains how the Muiscas actually had excellent channels, water like channelings, because Bogotá at the time used to get heavily flooded. Not at the time, it still gets flooded, but the Spanish moved the capital, okay, to that area. They took advantage of all this water that will come up and down for their agriculture, but it was gone, it was destroyed. I know, I get excited with these topics. Sorry, I'll leave the video there, so if you want to watch it.
Absolutely, and it's very similar to where my family is currently living in Chennai. It used to be a lake, a pond, and now like once or a few years there was not enough rainfall, so the land dried up and they immediately started building stuff. And now whenever there's a lot of rain, it gets flooded there like all the time. So the people before us, they knew how to manage the land they were in and to manage the different seasons.
I don't think manage. I think they knew how to co-live with nature.
Absolutely.
They knew how to coexist with nature. And that makes a huge difference. But again, we went out of the topic.
Still, it's about Bogota, the history. Yeah.
Okay. Now we went up. We took the funicular. We went up.
I just love seeing cityscapes from above at a big height on top of a mountain. You see all those buildings, and Bogota is such a huge city, and it doesn't stop there because it's still connected to other towns close by. So it's like it's never ending. And then to know that this was done like 500 years ago, people used to do it. It just is incredible. Like now, using all those funiculars, the train like trams to go up there, it feels very hard now. But then imagine 500 years ago, they used to like trek in the forest and to get there and get that view. It was beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. There were many foreigners too. It's a highly visited hotspot, basically. Many restaurants. The church was really nice too. I'm glad we did it.
Absolutely.
So that comes with the fact of why we didn't do it.
Why we didn't do it before? Of course, the legend.
Chan, chan, chan.
Yes. So despite us visiting or living for a few days in Bogota 4 or 5 times before this, we never really went to Monserrate, primarily because there's a legend that says couples that visit Monserrate who are not married will break up. And we did not want to take that chance. So we waited until we got married, not once, but twice.
So if anything happens, we still have one backup.
Exactly. So, and then we went there after all this, and to respect the legend.
Yeah, we're not superstitious though.
Yeah, absolutely not. It's just that everyone around you, the family, the friends, everyone says the same. And you're like, okay, you know what? Like, if so many people are saying it, there's so much power behind those words. So why to go against it? We'll just wait, and we're always going to visit back. So we'll go there next time. And this was the time that we did it.
Yes, and we loved it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Then, right behind the church, you have a souvenir area. And restaurants. We decided to actually go to normal restaurant, not like a high-end ones. When you go right behind the places that are very famous, you'll find locals selling local food with the local taste. So what did you eat, Amor?
So of course, all these typical restaurants have a lot of meat options and not a lot of vegetarian options, but Colombian people are super nice, and if you ask in a nice way, they are ready to prepare something specific for you without meat. So that's what they did, and I had a bandeja paisa without the meat. So it was
basically
very tasty.
rice with beans.
No, there's platanos, there's plantain, and there's patacones and plantain, there's beans, and there's rice, and there's avocados, and there's so many things there. Come on. And also talking about altitude sickness,
Okay.
they also had Coca Tea. So it's made from the leaves of the coca plant. So it's
Which is not a
supposed to-
drug, because the coca is a plant. Coca is a plant, okay? Cocaine, that is a heavily processed thing that I don't even know how they do it. That's sick.
Yeah, a lot of things. You don't need to get into that.
It's basically crap.
And these coca leaves are traditional, are like a part of the indigenous
It's like
people's life.
tulasi. Tulasi is a sacred plant.
Exactly. This
So was
is
coca and so was
sacred.
tobacco. Just like in a house, there is a tulasi plant and people go and pray. It's the same for these plants.
And it helps with altitude sickness.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Yeah. And I tried it. It was really good. And I didn't have altitude sickness, but still, it did help me get past without getting any issues with
I don't
breathing.
think it does much. Do you think it does much?
I have no idea. Maybe you have to chew the leaves to actually get the benefits. I have no idea. A lot of people do this, whether they visit the mountains in Colombia or Machu Picchu in Peru. So it's very common there.
Yeah.
As these indigenous tribes along the Andes mountain ranges, they lived on top of mountains. So, the altitude is very high there. So oxygen is very low. And obviously they're used to that. But still the coca leaves help a lot.
That's why we are small people.
Yeah.
I mean, the name of the cat that is like.
And great views as well. A couple of them are situated right on the edge of the mountain, so you can actually see the mountains beyond you.
Yes.
And we saw so many birds, and wow, the view was excellent, along with the food.
And we didn't get cold. That day wasn't cold at all.
Yeah, thankfully, because it can get cold and cloudy, and the view can be like not properly seen, but it was perfect when we went. It was really good. And you can keep walking through all the stores, the restaurants, and at the end of it you can see a viewpoint. There's a lot of people
From
sitting
the
down,
back of that hill.
having picnics, just having conversations, relaxing on the rocks. So it was beautiful altogether. But overall, like, more than the views, the food, the people, the stores, more than that, to just be in a place where the actual indigenous tribes lived, pilgrimaged, and prayed and had amazing times hundreds of years ago. Like, you can, despite all of that being destroyed now, built on top of, it's still, you can feel the soul and the history and the beauty of those stories when you're on top of those rocks or those mountains, touching a tree. It's just very magical. And it's this country, the city, the people exist because not only of the conquerors, but also mostly because of the indigenous tribes who have been here for hundreds, even thousands of years, right? And all that knowledge we say is lost now, but it's all in here, inside the people. So
The DNA.
yeah, it's always going to be there, or maybe buried under somewhere. So yeah, it was magical.
It reminds me of when we went to San Agustin, which is also that place is magical.
Absolutely.
But it was many years ago. Let us know if you want to know more about it, despite our footage being from years ago.
Yeah, and also like this is a very new try for us. We've never done vlogs or videos on travel, so we just wanted to test it out, whether you guys liked it. Yes, guys, let us know what you thought about this video, whether you liked the travel experiences that we shared. And if you want more, let us know which places you would like us to talk about in the comments.
Absolutely. Remember to follow us on Instagram at Masala of Cultures. Visit our website, masalaofcultures.com, and
We'll
thank
see
you,
in
guys.
the next videos.
Nandri Vanakam.
Muy rico.
Las colombianas cocinan muy rico.
Sí, muchas
Y hay que diga que no.
hierbas.